at Maker Central 2019 at the NEC in Birmingham, and we're joined by Jessie, and the YouTube channel is iJessop, right?
Yes,
is that right? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm enjoying my time here. I was here last year, and it's an honor and a privilege to be back.
Awesome. Now the accent, Jessie, you're not. Where are you from?
I'm not from here.
Okay.
Originally, I'm from California.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm living in the California desert right now for some projects, and but I kind of go back and forth between the coasts and anywhere in between.
Nice. How long was it? Quite a big trip then to come home for the weekend, or how was the travel? Was it all right?
Oh, I've been here for a week already.
Have you?
Yeah.
Vacation.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I met some of the people that I met here last year. We formed a really tight bond, and I went out a week early. I was in Leeds and helping my friend do some work at his house. We had 4 more people show up. We were all doing sewing and building, and then after this, we're going down to Bristol to spend some time in a forge.
I tell you what, you've made it a right trip, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Why not? Treat yourself. Now, Jessie, can you tell us a bit more about your work? Am I right saying you do something with your brother?
I do. I work for my brother and with my brother, and I also have my own channel. We do similar concepts, so things that at least 98% of people anywhere can do. So he has a design in architecture or a background in architecture and design, and I have a background in just trying to be as helpful as possible.
I love
So he does the bigger frame things, like we just finished building a tiny house together out in the California desert, and then I try to focus on things that anyone with no experience can do, because I'm not trained for anything. I'm not trained to do sewing or woodworking or metalworking or forging, but yet in the past year I've done all those things.
Wow.
So I like to think that if I can figure out how to do it, then I will show you this is how easy it is. Like, you can do it because I can.
That's so inspiring.
Yeah.
How did you kind of fall into this with your brother and stuff? You work together. I know you have your own as well. We'll speak about that in a bit. But with just your brother, like, did you guys get on? Were you just like, hey, we'll just start creating things, or what?
Well, I went to visit him in Boston maybe 5 years ago, and he said, do you like what you're doing now? And I was like, yeah, it's fun. You know, I worked at the same restaurant for like 13 years. It's like, well, I'm building a house or apartment, really. When it's finished, do you want to move out here and work for me? And I was like, sure.
How awesome is that? I mean, that is just so good. That's unheard of, to be honest. Brothers and sisters getting on, right?
Oh, it's true. And actually, when I went to visit him too, he was working on his very first project for his YouTube channel, which now has over 1 million subscribers.
Wow.
So it's like, it's fun for me to know I was there for the first one. I'm like sanding wine bottles so he can make this hanging plant thing, and I'm thinking, this is so dumb. Like, who watches YouTube? But the kid's smart. You gotta hand it to him.
Happy days.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit more about your channel. What's it called?
My channel is iJessop.
iJessop, of course.
Yeah, and right now I'm kind of branching out because, well, I still want to make sure that I maintain this platform of anyone can do this with no experience, and just the most basic tools. Like I buy the quality cheap tools, you know. So it's like I use all the same brands, and so it makes it really easy. In the States, they're super accessible, and I've started branching out now into doing kind of more fun, silly things.
Okay.
Like there's a group of us that have a great love for a TV show that was canceled like 15 years ago. It's called Firefly.
Okay.
But we banded together, each picked a character, and now do themed builds based on those characters.
Wow.
So I can make anything now, from a bed to a desk to I made a sword out of plate steel with an angle grinder. So it's nice because not knowing how to do something, it can either be the barrier, or it can also be, well, if I don't know how to do it, then I can't do it wrong, right? Like anything I do is better than nothing.
True.
So I made this very silly sword that looks very much like the prop in the movie, and I'm very proud of it.
Good on you. Yeah. This is epic. So with the making situation, do you kind of just make everything now? Like say in your house, you make furniture, it sounds like quite a lot of it. In your house, do you have, I made the chair, you made the bed, have you made all of that?
Yeah, so the vast majority of our furniture is made by all of us. I live with my brother and another friend of ours who's also a YouTuber.
Awesome.
So I'd say like 90% of our furniture is made by us, but oddly enough, we've lived in the same house for a year now. My brother and I, neither of us have made a bed frame. We both, like, in our rooms, there's just a big mattress on the floor because it's like the last thing that we think about until we go to bed at night, and we're just like, I guess sometime I should make a bed frame. And yet we have all this other, like, we have in the backyard, there's like all these different weight training stations that are just concept ideas. There's half-formed furniture pieces all over the living room. But yeah, like the stuff in my room, I just made a big maker stand, like all the things that people have given to me. First time I welded a base, and it's kind of like a tree shelf coming out. And I've got the desk, and I've got shelf, like all kinds of stuff that I made. No bed frame.
You know what? It's fine. The bed frame will come. You know, that's a future thing, right? That's a future thing.
Yeah.
So, Jessie, how do you kind of get into the zone? Say you're a bit inspired. You're like, I'm going to make something. Is there anything you do before you create? Music or?
Mainly what I do is I stress out about it for about a month.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a plan this time. I'm going to sketch it up. I'm going to find out my dimensions. And then I remember that I can't sketch and numbers don't make sense to me. So after a month of stressing, I just go into the shop and start cutting things. And then when I've cut everything incorrectly, I usually just sit down and cry for like 30 minutes. And then I make it, and it takes like 1 or 2 days.
That's awesome.
That's my creative process.
That's your kind of vibe for the creative process. That's brilliant.
It's like I forget that I don't know how to do this, so I just completely overwhelm myself, and then, okay, take it back to the beginning.
Yep.
Cut the wood, done. Cut the metal, done. Put it together, done.
There we go.
Yeah, that's my
the
process.
way to do it. That is the way to do it. So what about tools? I'm sure you use quite a variety of tools. Do you have a favourite that you like to use whilst doing your work?
Angle grinder. Angle grinder is my favorite tool of all time. If you cut metal, it makes sparks, and it's fantastic. It has that whiny noise. It's like, yes, I am working with tools. Wow. And it's just, I don't know, it's just fun. It's just, you can shape metal with it. I mean, how cool is that?
Massively. It sounds super fun. Now, have you got kind of a future project? Have you got something coming up in the pipeline that you've not made yet that you can share with us, or any ideas for the future?
I have all kinds of ideas. Right now, they're just kind of in their infancy stage. It's more like I need to build something now, right? What do I need? Nothing. Okay, what do I have, and what can I make out of it? And that's usually what happens. Like, well, I have this much steel, I have this much wood. What if I put it together like this? You know? And that's kind of where it comes from. Yeah. So
kind of just freestyle in a way.
Yeah.
You know, just going with the flow, see what happens.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm technically, my job is as a designer and a fabricator, but I don't have any experience in design. So it's, there's a trick where you take like 3 objects that are similar, usually like toothpicks or popsicle sticks or something, and you just kind of like arrange them in different directions until your head is like, oh, this looks like A. Wow. And then you go, okay, what material do I actually need for that? And you kind of build back from there. Yeah, and it's a fun thing. It's one of my favorite things to do is just look around the room and say, what can I make with things in this room? Like if I wanted to make a notebook, it's like, well, I have 10 different types of paper, I have leather, I have tooling materials, like I can sew a leather notebook with all these different types of paper for like sketching or like writing or whatever.
Wow.
So it's a good exercise to try and get you to think about things in a different way.
Massively.
Yeah, and it's fun.
You know what? Because you can make so many different things, and it's just ridiculous. It's so cool. What about gifts? You know, if it's someone's birthday or something, do you kind of feel like you handmake gifts quite a lot for people?
I do. Like, it's funny because our family, like, we're not really, we don't usually do gift giving, like traditionally speaking.
Yeah.
But we're always making things, and it's like, oh, you like this. Apparently this is for you. Like, when I was in my friend's forge last year, I made a blacksmithing knife. So it's got a very simple shape. There's a little blade, and then the handle curls around like this. And I made it just for practice. It's a good thing to practice on. I'm not good in the forge, but it's really fun. So I made this knife, and I thought, this is cool. And my sister saw it and said, I love it. And I said, I made this for you then, because I know now, I really liked it. I'm very proud of it. But I can make another one.
Yeah.
And she likes this one, not only because it's fun and interesting, but it was my first one.
It means something to you as well.
Exactly. So like when I go to my parents' house, I won't necessarily give them a present, but my mom will say, I need to do this, fix this thing in the bathroom. Like, done. Like we'll cut a hole in the wall, inset the mirror, and like, you know, and then I get to do it with her, and then she feels good because she's like sawing out the framing on the inside to fit this thing in. I'm like, this is great.
I need to call you up then. If I need some gifts making, I'm going to be like,
perfect.
Jessie, girl, okay, I've got this, epic. So
Absolutely.
what about this weekend then? Is there any makers here at Maker Central who inspire you, who you've met this weekend? You've gone wicked. I really wanted to kind of, you know, get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, there were a couple people who I was really excited to meet. I mean, it was fun to come back and see everyone again, and that was huge. But very specifically, there's a channel called The Maker Monster, and he was here. He's here right now.
He's here.
He's absolutely amazing. In his channel, he wears this big furry mask that, in all honesty, is just absolutely terrifying. And I put off watching his videos for so long because it looked horrific. And then I watched him, and he is gloriously imaginative and kind and engaging, and his videos, he's very clever with how he builds, but it's like watching a children's show for adults. It just makes you happy, and you just sit there and go, what is he going to do next? So the Maker Monster is a huge one. I got to meet him yesterday. I got to talk with him, and it really made me happy. And then there's another fellow, Matt Holmes from Holmesy Logic. He actually, I have it on me because I always have it on me.
Oh.
He made this of cyanotype.
Wow.
He made this, gave it to me last year. It since then has literally my blood, sweat, and tears, also some ink and some rust. And I got him to sign it this year.
Yes.
He's absolutely fabulous. He's a brilliant designer and just a wonderful person. And you know, it's people like that where, especially since, you know, there's no events like this. There's events for woodworkers and, like, you know, robotics and all this thing, and everyone tries. But this event, this is the only one like it. And to have it be here rather than in the States, I think is really important, because we have so many events there, and there's a group of all the Americans that goes to, you know, everything. We all see each other. But coming here just opens up the world. There's so many people from so many different countries. It's like, we're all doing the same things. We're all making things. Everyone has a different idea of how to do it, a different design aesthetic. I mean, I was sitting at a table last night with a Frenchman and 3 Norwegians and a Swede and then an American, and like, it's just like, this is great.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's always great meeting people from all over the world. I've had a chat with so many of you, and it's just super inspiring and amazing to kind of get to know you guys. But Jessie, thank you so much for letting us have a chat.
It's my pleasure.
It's been awesome. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Here at Maker Central, and we'll see you guys soon.